JFK.
Joining me now. I want to bring in now.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is March 20th, 2025, 8:57 a.m. Welcome to Coffee and Crime. I'm your host, JB Gunner. It's gonna be an interesting one because the snack cakers are gonna go fucking nuts today. As we gotta talk about facts. Lauren, the beautiful Lauren, what's up? We got the beautiful Tracy. Alicia, what's going on, beautiful? Man, the beautiful Mandy Lee's in there. Ginger and Hellcat. Yo. Amanda Wallace. JB. Jessica. A lot of you. Good to see you guys this morning. Well, good to see you. Alright. Look, man. The evidence is enough, man. Yeah, ain't enough, man. No, it's not enough for some people. Might night JB Gunner channel. I've got several channels. What's up, Gina? How you doing? And no, I want you to see how dumb these faggots are. I want you to see how dumb I want to make something clear before we get started. If you are emotionally attached to guilty or not guilty in any of these cases, then you're a retard. I want you to understand how mad people get. Oh my God, you no longer feel the exact same way about a case that doesn't involve any of us that I do. If you are like that, you're retarded. You are legitimately retarded. There's something wrong with you. If you legitimately are so attached to a case that has absolutely nothing to do with you, to the point where you're mad if someone else reads a document that goes against your preconceived notions, then bro, you need some pussy. You need some pussy. There's something legitimately wrong with you. What's going on, Slam? Today we will be going over the documents, and unfortunately, we have bumped into a situation. What's up, Florencia? How you doing, beautiful? Kohberger see this as a TV show with their favorite character is BK. He says, tip jar revoked. My tip jar will be just fine. In fact, let me give a shout out to Mandy. By the way, I made 6 figures without this channel. So make no mistake about it, bro. I'll be fine. If you think my entire channel is based on agreeing with you, you've lost your goddamn mind. I did have to get my hold of myself about this case. Yeah, it doesn't involve you, right? You see what I'm saying? Tracy, it doesn't, there are people more attached to this case. There are people that have read everything about this case, but haven't touched the JFK files one time. I want to let that sink in for just a second. There are people that are attached to this case more than the JFK files. And if that doesn't tell you how virtually retarded people are, nothing will. Yeah, he said your tip jar is going to be fine. I'll help because your mind is not influenced by the masses. Respect. Thank you, Jeff. And that's what they want. They are, see, when I agreed with them, I was great. They loved what I did. JB, you speak the realist. But as soon as I read a document that counters their narrative, and I say, oh shit, this don't look good. The minute I do that, they flip their mind. It don't bother me at all. Let me give a shout out to the beautiful Mandy. Thank you so much. Widely DM alive. Was she knowingly involved? I don't think so. Personally, I don't think so. I don't know if he saw Dylan, to be honest. Thank you, Mandy. The beautiful Just a Mom sent 10. Thank you. Because you're not allowed to change your mind, of course. And listen, if you're 100% right. Thank you, Just a Mom. Thank you. Let me tell you something. If you're one of those people that believe no matter what evidence is presented before you, you're going to stand your ground, then you're an idiot. We saw in the Delphi case, right? We saw in the Delphi case where a lot of us didn't believe Richard Allen did it, and then the motherfucker Richard Allen said, yeah, I did it. And I was like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I guess we was wrong. They're like, oh, they had to have forced it out of him. We don't know that. We don't know that. You know what I mean? Same thing here. I said over and over again that I didn't believe they had enough evidence to convict Bryan Kohberger, and I still don't think so. However, the circumstantial evidence has been enough to point me in the direction of saying, I think this motherfucker might have done it. See, and what these people do is they say, they try to tell you how many millions of K-bar knives, right, are sold. And I was like, your average person doesn't know anybody with a K-bar knife. I didn't even know what a K-bar knife was until this case. I'm not a Marine. Do you see what I'm saying? Like most of this narrative that they're going with, they're saying everybody buys K-bar knives off Amazon. No, I don't know anybody that does. And I don't know, we will read the footnotes, no doubt. I don't know anybody that owns a K-bar knife, honestly. And so this narrative that Buckshot, I believe you got him, Buckshot. I believe you got him. But this thing where they're like, bro, let me just ask this. Does Bryan Kohberger look like a hunter? They're like, hunters buy them all the time. I was like, does Bryan Kohberger look like a hunter, though? Where does his dad come into the picture? Because him and his dad were pulled over by police. Well, he was just riding with him on the way back home. Thank you, Just a Mom, and thank you to Mandy. Appreciate you, ladies. Appreciate you, ladies. Let me get your name on the board. Mandy, Just a Mom. And by the way, to you, ladies, I will be doing the JFK files over on the other channel later. So, but let me piss off the snack cakers for a minute, because that's what it's so weird to see them so attached to this case, where they're like, if someone doesn't have the same exact opinion as me or their mind changes, they're like, oh, I hate JB Gunner now. Well, I don't care. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't bother me at all. Because my position is very much so, I'm a man that looks at facts. What's up, Dave? I'm also a man that looks at, I'm a man that believes Occam's razor is a real thing. Occam's razor is a real thing. And at this point, I'm kind of like, okay, I still don't know if they have enough to convict him because the evidence is very, very circumstantial. Who cares? I like you. I like you too. However, me personally, what's up, Katie? I personally believe he did it now. When I saw this picture, and I'm going to show you the picture. I am. I'm going to show you a picture. And I just want you guys to take a look at this. I'm just going to, both idiots, Occam's razor, blah, blah, blah. You're not putting forward a good argument, JH. Is this the best you could do? Is this the best you can do? Just curious. Because I'm pretty sure me and Harsh are on opposite sides of this. That's your best argument is Occam's razor, blah, 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 blah. Exactly. Jeff says this 10:30 a.m. selfie Bryan took shows that he actually been in Hawaii Park around 4 a.m., he surely could have taken an exonerating selfie there. Dude did it. And that, you just fucking nailed it. If Bryan Kohberger was in the park, all I need, you and Harsh besties. That's not, we don't know each other, bro. You didn't say anything. And even if we were besties, By the way, we live in 2 different countries. It's not possible for us to be besties. I don't care who did it. It's intriguing and incompetence is overwhelming. I agree with that completely. Your argument's not very solid. You need a snack cake. You're not the same when you're not yourself when you're hungry. I forgot the timestamp. I wonder if his selfie was sent to DM via Snap. No, I don't know. Look, man, either put forward an argument or I'm going to get you up out of here. All right? I'll let you talk shit. I'll let you disagree. But either say something that makes sense or you're getting up out of here. All right? So to my mods, he's got one more shot. If he does not put forward an argument, get him out. Damn trolls are up early. I told you they're mad. They get angry when you don't agree with them. But anyway, I want to show you guys an image. And I'm sure you guys have seen this image by now. Vegetarians don't hunt. It's good. That's a very good point. What worries me now is that he really is guilty. The case is weakly circumstantial. Yeah, I agree. He doesn't get out here just to tickle the ears of all of us. There you go. Yeah. The reason they continuously like connect me and Harsh is because they know Harsh is the only one of these people I watch. They're mad I don't watch their favorite true crime YouTubers. They're mad that I don't like watching true crime YouTubers. I'm a political guy. You understand? And that angers them. How come you won't go watch this? He said, well, someone ordered a sex doll from Amazon. Yeah, but Dave, listen, man, at some point we got to look at some shit and say, all right, so there was a knife sheath with his touch DNA, which granted, touch DNA itself does not prove that he bought it, that it was his. But I would say that knowing that he bought it just a few months before the murders, that's a bad look, bro. That's a bad look. And by the way, they have witnesses to say he bought it, K-Bars and Yo Cells. Yes, but that doesn't matter. That does not matter if $2.4 million is very, very little. I understand $2.4 million sounds like a lot to you, but anyone that owns a small business knows $2.4 million in sales? That's not saying much. Could someone have stolen it? Of course they could have. Of course they could have. If they could prove that someone stole it, that could make a difference. Yeah, of course. $2.4 million is pennies in any small. That means there's not very many people that buy K-Bar knives. If any of his rights were violated, he could walk. Right, that's true. Do you understand? Like, you're saying $2.4 million in the business. Like, you understand that's nothing. There are people that sell stickers on Etsy that bring in $2.4 million in business. You know what I'm saying? $2.4 million is a very small amount. You know what I mean? It's a very small amount of total, sales. That's not much. If anything, it shows how little amount of people in America or worldwide owns a K-Bar knife, right? In my opinion. But I want to show you guys something here, and I want to get your opinion on it, right? Let me see. I want you guys to take a look at this. And tell me what you see. Now, I know there's going to be people that say that, listen, these people thought the 911 call was AI, so I know there's going to be snack cakers that say the picture is AI. I would like to know your opinion on this image. He took this picture at 10:30 a.m. the morning of the murders, after the murders. The point is 2.4 is, no, it's not a lot. $2.4 million is not a lot at all. He says it's 50,000 knives in the world. That's not a lot of knives. For you to believe that 50,000 knives, even in a country where there's 350 million people. I see he had a bathroom curtain at the time. Actually, let's take a look again. Did he? Maybe, you know what? Maybe that on the right side of this, those knuckles sure are white. He's making serpent type fists, means mission accomplished. All right, let's analyze this for just a second. Do you guys see? Yeah, those sideburns are wild. Do you guys see a curtain here? That's not what I'm wanting you guys to look at, though. But maybe over here to the right, it's pushed off. Maybe that's the case. I said the point is 50,000 knives. I didn't say 50. Jesus Christ. The entire point is when someone starts talking about $2.4 million in sales. That's a very weak number. This weird thing that you guys are doing where you're saying everybody buys it. Man, everybody has a K-bar knife. That's not true. It's not accurate. Most people don't own a K-bar knife. Most people don't own a K-bar knife. Now, let me see if I can zoom in on this, because I want to show you guys something. Are those earbuds? No, those are just sideburns, I think. I don't know what the fuck that is. I guess it could be. I ain't gonna lie, man. This picture's creepy as fuck. I ain't gonna lie to you. I own a K-bar. Yeah, but very few people do. Like I said, a lot of us didn't even know what a K-bar knife was prior to this case. Not everybody's a Marine or a hunter. Is his neck red in this picture? I don't think so. But what is red, if I can zoom in, let me see if I can get a zoomed in picture on his finger. His clicks are supposed to mean he's looking to replace the knife. No, you're not. Listen, we haven't even started talking about it, Lorak. We haven't even started talking about it. These motherfuckers got arguments before we've even. I want you to understand. This is how crazy these people are. These people are obsessed. They're making arguments before we've even commentated on it. You know what I'm saying? No, if you take a look here at his, between his fingers, right in here, you will see there's blister right here. Let me see if I can zoom in on it. Let me see if I can zoom in on this real quick. Give me just a second. You can't even have a show where they're overbearing. Yeah, they're wild shit. They're wild people. Let me see if I can pull this up and maybe zoom in. Let me see here. Because this is what I noticed. You think BK is right-handed. I don't know if he is or isn't. Right in here, this little region right here, I'm seeing abrasions. I'm seeing it. What it doesn't look like cuts. What it looks like. Have you ever have you ever had it blister? Like maybe you're doing something with your hands and it blisters right there because maybe the way you're holding something or whatever. That's what I'm seeing. That's what caught my eye. Now it could just be, I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if he's right-handed or not. BK had shit luck. He walks past with the person in the house that shoveled dirt blister. What does that mean? I get blisters from gardening right there. Yeah. Why would a vegan have a K-bar? Well, I mean, I don't think anyone thinks he was a hunter, right? I don't think anyone thinks like he was a hunter. I mean, he was a hunter, all right. Just not, yeah, I mean, like, I don't think, I don't take him for the type that's out hunting, you know what I mean? Hikers, yeah. Which that he was. The buttons on his shirt look correct for a male shirt? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe BK went hard throwing axes in the days prior. Possible. So, We're going to get into these documents. Shovel dirt blister, what were you trying to explain earlier? That's what his hand is? Yeah, that could be. Not a mirror image. Not a mirror image. Is there a bruise on the back of his hand by his thumb? Let me take a look at it again. What's going on, Amanda? How you doing? Let's take a look at it again. Maybe there is. Man, his knuckles are hella white. His knuckles are hella white. Compare his eyebrows in a rest photo, much trimmed compared to bathroom picture. That would be nuts, wouldn't it? Well, if I were holding my camera phone in my right hand, I would thumbs up with my left. That makes sense. That makes sense. I feel like there's a dark spot on his neck. Yeah, see, I'm struggling with that. I can't see it. I can't see it. We'd love to know the reason someone gives a thumbs up at 10:31 after not sleeping at all the night before. Yeah, and I think, I'm going to be honest with you. You want my theory real quick? I'll give you my theory on the thumbs up. Now, this is just me kicking some shit around. If it's true, major if, it's true that when he was arrested, he said there was anybody else arrested. I think that could be confirmation to some. You know what? Let me not even go. I don't want to theorize like everybody else, right? This doesn't really hurt the defense strategy. Thank you for letting us know that. They're saying the knife was planted, so he had one, and by November 1, he was no longer in his possession because he was looking to buy another one. That's not what he said. That's not what they said. I'm not a hunter, but I do rock hunt and go hiking with a K-bar like knife in case I encounter a wild animal. Yeah, which to me, a K-bar is so... See, you got to remember, I've done long-distance hiking. I've hiked the Appalachian Trail twice. Do you see what I'm saying? Like a K-bar or any knife like that feels like too heavy of an object. Like I've been hiking so many times. Like most hikers that I see out there, like real like hikers, they got little pocket knives to cut cheese with, not to fucking, you know what I'm saying? Not to like it. Most like long distance hikers in any way, they don't have weaponry like that. Because of the weight. You got to remember, a lot of hikers, man, we're counting ounces when we pack our packs. That's why I don't carry firearms out there. It's an odd question he asked. Was anyone else arrested? If he asked that. I put his photo in the system we have here in the court system to remove colors, and that blister definitely remains. I'll email you it. Thank you, Mandy. Thank you. All I'm saying is, if that was a blister between his hands right here, wouldn't that be consistent? Wouldn't that be consistent with maybe stabbing and maybe, just maybe. I feel a machete was used in these crimes. Why so? How so? I'm just curious, Paco. Well, what would make you say that? I'm just curious. Because if a machete was used in these crimes, wouldn't those people that was on the 911 call had immediate, like a machete would leave a lot of fucking blood spatter and a lot of shit, right? Like, wouldn't those people on the 911 call would have been like, shit, when he's driving back with his dad, his hands are normal? I agree with that. Good point, Jeff. His first kill, Merck's 4, and no injuries to self. Yeah. What's up, Missy Moo? The beautiful Missy Moo sent 20. Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys. What's up, Missy? So with a K-bar, the wounds didn't match, father said. Harder to walk. What father? And what do you mean wounds didn't match? I know what you're talking about, but I'm just wanting you to explain. I know what you're talking about. I understand that you're going back off some Gonsalves shit. I understand all that. But would make a horrible murder weapon. Exactly. Thank you, Moo. Appreciate that. So, Let's go ahead and get into these documents. All I'm saying, by the way, to all the people that somehow feel betrayed by me, I just want you to really analyze your mental capacity. You don't know none of these girls. This case doesn't involve you. There is no reason for you to be so emotionally tied to this shit. So much so that when someone, when talking about the case, says something maybe you disagree with or reads documents you don't like, that shouldn't affect you so much. I want you to understand how many thousands of people have been murdered in this country since those 4 kids. So when you come in here, and there's actually people that say they paid you off, JB. Paid me off? Who the fuck would pay me off? By the way, they can pay me off. But why would they? I think you guys think that these 4 killings is bigger than what it is. Like, you guys act like this is a major thing. In the grand scheme of things, in the news world, this isn't shit. And how do I know that? Because I cover news all day. Nobody but this little group of true crimers talk about the Idaho 4 case. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah, damn, that price got to be high, though. Yeah. So to believe that this case is so important that people's like paying off YouTubers to change their mind, that's a ridiculous statement. Because it's easier to get money from the crazies. So if I wanted to get money from this case, like you think I do, I would continue to appease the crazies. Because the crazies are the ones that'll be like, yeah, you understand what I'm saying? I emailed it to you. It's still up in the air, but it does take shape. It's unfortunate. It's so pixelated. I get BK gets his strongest desire to be the subject of Catherine Ramsland's next book. Yeah. Manda, he had a vacuum. By the way, I still don't know if he did it. How about the crazy pic of the DM with the machete? Oh, that means so you think Dylan Mortensen killed him with the machete and the study? Crazy. Exactly, I said the same thing. No, the thing about the true crimers is that they think that this little world that they're in is big, huge. And that everybody, just like yesterday, somebody in the comment section said something, they're like, everybody knows. No, everybody doesn't know. Everybody that's here thinks that people think just like them or should think just like them. And anyone that doesn't think just like them has to be wrong and stupid and all this shit or being paid off. I was into it because I saw injustice happening because of... Yeah, but injustice happens all over the country all the time. Injustice happens all over the time. Murders happen all over the place all the time. Injustice happens all over the place all the time. He bought it in March 22nd in PA. Yeah. So, I never said she did it, but these kids in Idaho, for some reason, were infatuated with knives. It's that's exactly right. It's entertainment. I've always told you, I'm not connected to this case. I don't give a fuck I'm playing a game of Clue. I personally don't care whether Kohberger did it, didn't do it, goes to jail, doesn't go to jail. I don't give a fuck. I got way bigger fish to fry. You understand what I'm saying? Like, to me, I'm simply someone that's followed the case, presenting you facts, entertaining you a little bit. But I think anyone that's emotionally attached to this is kind of retarded. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless you know the people. So, the Linda Lane video when the audio is more accurate than everything else out there. So, that's all I'm saying, man, is don't get upset because someone else, whether it's a guilter or not guilter or, don't let those people... Like, don't get emotionally attached to those people, right? Like, it's not Rolomoto, they call it, oh, shit. Matt's military came on. Okay, cool story. I have 2 K-bar knives and a machete. Yeah. At least JR Investigates got it right. Boots on the ground. Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you want to call it that. But listen, I will say this. The beautiful Missy Moo sent another 15. Thank you so much. It's easy to be right when, okay. Here's reality. I agree with you. JLR and Gray Hughes, they might have got it right. But it's easy to get it right when you side with the law enforcement, who ultimately is the system that decides right or get wrong. It's easy if you just take the police's word every single time, right? You're going to be more right than wrong. You know what I mean? Have you heard the one with yeah, no, I'm just, no. No, I'm not. Thank you, Moo. Appreciate you so much. Thank you, Missy. So what I'm saying is, more times than not, you're going to be right if you side with the police, because in law enforcement, in the courts, because you're in the prosecution, because you're going to, you see what I'm saying? Because they're the ones that make the decision. They're the ones that determine guilty, not guilty, whatever. Legendary CEO sent 20. Thank you, brother. So what I mean is, when you bootlick, you're going to be right most of the time. I choose to think outside the box. I choose to question things. And my position has always been, what do you think about the blister? I still think it's a maybe. When it comes to the blister, I think I do think it's a maybe. Let me see here. Let me put CEO on it. Thank you, CEO. When's the last long time law enforcement got it wrong? JH, under 50% of homicides in this country have been solved. Under 50% of homicides in this country have been solved. Do you know how ridiculous you sound when you say the police? When's the last time the police got it wrong? Are you being serious? Are you being serious right now? Just curious. I mean, if you want to bootleg, do all you want. But I'm someone that's done stories over and over again about how certain towns, in certain towns, where you have to have below a certain IQ to become a police officer. Example, though, I'm asking for a no, you're wanting me to answer from famous cases is what you're asking. I just gave you a direct number. Under 50% of homicides in this case, in this country, go unsolved. I think it's safe to say that the police get it wrong a lot. That's true, Area 1. You're wanting me to look at famous cases and say, when's the last time they got it wrong? I mean, clearly a name pops off the head, O.J. Simpson. Concrete example, O.J. Simpson. O.J. Simpson. That's an example of when, whether they were right or wrong, that's an example of where the courts determined they were wrong. That's an example. Could be that BK bought a K-bar to slice cheese. Oh, wait, vegan? Yeah, exactly. That's a concrete example. Local detectives aren't necessarily the, okay, OJ, give me two. Man, suck my dick, JH. This ain't George. I'm not going to sit here and just answer you. I just told you less than 50% of homicides are solved in this country. That's your example, motherfucker. That's your example. I'm not going to sit here and do this with you. If you want to suck off the police, you can suck off the police. That's not my job. Work calls, got to later on, Mandy. I hope you're doing good, beautiful. I'll talk to you later. Procedure and standards, yeah. Like, that's a weird position to take. Good morning, brother. I'm glad to see they actually have something to call Burger crime scene. Yeah, I think it's I don't know how to feel about it, because there's part of me that's like, oh shit, maybe I was wrong this whole time, obviously. But then there's part of me that's happy because I don't want them to arrest the wrong guy. Charles Manson showed me documents in Cochrane. Of course Charles Manson did. You got a tip or a good personal answer? JB Kohberger? What is that? I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what Kohberger means. These three indicators on the most recent photos of the car. It's the launcher, side window, curves alongside the car. Yeah. When I say rather 100 people go free than one innocent man suffer, I agree with that completely. All right, guys, so what we're going to do is we're going to pull up these docs. We're going to pull up these docs here in just a second. And I'm just going to warn you. If you guys are the type of people that's looking for someone that is just going to follow the crowd, I'm not that guy. I don't respect any of you enough to follow you. What's up, James? I go to the beat of my own drum. So this opinion and the documents I'm going to read to you is 100% real. The opinion that I give is mine from my gut based on the data that I have looked at for now 2.5 straight years. So I just want to make that clear. There are going to be people that stand their ground and say this isn't good enough for them. There are going to be all the guilters that say, see, I told you. Man, there's still only circumstantial evidence. But for me, I told you guys a long time ago, my line in the sand would be if he ordered that fucking thing off Amazon. That would push me to where I'm like, oh shit. So let's go ahead and get into some of this. We'll get into the selfie here in a little bit, and we'll get into what News Nation has to say here in a little bit. I'm sure Bumfield is going to be losing her shit. Wait until Ann Taylor gets these people on their oath. Yes, I assume you're talking about the girls. I assume that's what you're talking about, and we'll talk. We can talk about their shit as well. We can talk about the girls and their because they clearly wasn't asleep. Does that make sense? They clearly wasn't and asleep. But this weird thing that people do, where they're like the girls had to have been involved. No, they look like some dumb bitches that was just sitting there on their phone, on social media, checking Indeed, doing all this. They look like they just didn't know what happened. So if people want my opinion on the girls, I truly believe the girls just didn't know what had happened. So watching from the beginning, there you go, Samir. So let's go ahead and get into the documents. Guys, we're going to take a look at this right here. This is obviously regarding excluding the Amazon click activity at trial. Now, one of the things that I kept getting last night in the comments is just because there was that click activity doesn't mean he bought it. Oh, except for the part in the documentation where they said he bought it. Reading comprehension and comprehension in general, even just those that view me, their ability to comprehend, in my opinion, is stunted. Like there's something wrong with them. And another thing that proves that they're stunted is when people are like, you flipped. Flip what? We're not in a gang. We're not in a gang. And here comes the general thing. So an Amazon purchase means you killed someone? Yes, if that thing, it makes it more likely. It makes it more likely if there's a knife sheath of yours that was found with touch DNA under a dead body where there was a quadruple murder. Yes. I believe that if you happen to make a purchase of something and said something ends up under a dead body with your touch DNA, I'd say that that is a very damning piece of evidence. It could be fabricated easy. Well, so can a lot of shit. But it doesn't mean it was fabricated. You just saying it could be fabricated does not mean it was fabricated. You're just saying that because you want to stick to your story, and because you just became a YouTuber and now you're starting to make videos that are you think. I understand your purpose. Why don't they run the two blood? I wish I knew, bro. See, and that's another common mistake a lot of people are going to make. Because I am looking at the knife shit. People are going to start bringing up all the things that I agree with them on. Well, what about this? What about it? What about it? Jesse says, I don't give a fuck if it was his knife. I still want to know what DM and BF were up to. Clearly, they were going through Indeed. Clearly. Clearly, they didn't take it to be serious enough to, like they didn't know. But I definitely don't think Dylan Mortensen was killing people. I definitely don't think Bethany Funk was killing people. What were they doing? Shit. Based on the documentation, they were on fucking Instagram and Indeed and shit like that. I was more pro, but this has wobbled me. Yeah, it's exactly Pixie. Did you know they never tested the snap button? Bro, I know more than you. I've been here since day one. Of course. You understand? So, he said, JB Hughes, yes. Now that's going to be their thing, because I don't agree with them now. All you YouTubers the same, only Grizzly True Crime honest. Oh, so I'm lying by reading you the documents. I love this. I want you to see how nuts these people go the minute you say something that isn't in agreement with them. So now they get the DNA from a button that they never tested. Man, I'm not, whatever, man. I wonder if one of the girls left the door unlocked for the killer. You never know. You never know. JB is honest. Yeah, as honest as could be. But the thing is that now that I'm seeing documents that makes me side-eye Bryan, now all of a sudden I'm lying. Just a week ago, they were saying how real and how truthful I was. And now that I'm seeing something that I disagree with them about, they're like, see how he lies? You see what I'm saying? Right. JB, this is the shit they got on a daily for reals, bro. The ISP lady got caught lying. By who? Who caught him? Who caught him? JB, the shit they got on a daily for reals, bro. Yeah, exactly. I was in a stream last night, and excuses and scenario these people make up is ridiculous. They're too attached to it. They're weirdos. They're too attached to their opinion. Oh, I don't think he did it by himself, Jesse, at all. Yeah, 100%. 100%. And oh my God, people, these must be the Dems. JB get so mad. Oh, it's all right. They're adorable. People hate. Look, don't you think? All I'm gonna say is, before I made my video last night, don't you know how fucking triggered I was? When I got done reading the documents before I made that video, I sat and I thought to myself, I said, oh my God, I gotta fucking make this video. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I understand being upset because I also was like, fuck, he's innocent. And then He said, I still think BK is innocent. There's nothing wrong with that. So later on, CEO. But for me, after 2.5 years of making videos where I defended Kohberger, don't you think that I had that moment last night where I was like, fuck. You think I wanted to make that video? You think I want my opinion to change? No. But I'm a logical person. I believe in Occam's razor. And this right here makes it very up in the air for me. Yeah, heart sank. Yeah, it was like, oh, fuck, I've been defending the wrong guy. But you're not afraid to admit when you're wrong. Oh, yeah. What's up, Denny? And that's the truth. As you think I wanted to admit or say, oh, my God, Kohberger looks guilty now? You think I wanted to admit that? Don't you think my stomach dropped? Don't you think it bothered me? Of course it did. Exactly. He said an 8 hour, yeah, the 8 hour delay. Yeah, there's answers to it though. All right, guys, so let's get to the documentation. Hey, Jody, how you doing? Hope you've been good. Let's get to this. We're gonna go scroll on down, right? Because you know what? Let's just go ahead and get down to what really matters here. Okay, let's get to what really matters. Bryan Kohberger's Amazon.com click activity is relevant and it is admissible. Now you may think, as I saw in my comments yesterday, that this entire portion is just about this click activity. It's not. They are telling you that the click activity is relevant because of the purchase that was made. Do you understand? I just want you to we're going to go slow. Under Idaho Rule of Evidence 401, evidence is relevant if it has the tendency to make a fact more or less probable than it would without the evidence. And the fact is of consequence in determining the action, IRE 401, defendant appears to argue that the evidence of the defendant's Amazon click history is not relevant. That is not the case, says the document. A K-bar knife sheath with the USMC logo was found next to one of the victims, as we all know, at 1122 King Road. The defendant's DNA was found on the K-bar knife sheath found at the scene. Now, you and me all know this is touch DNA. You and me all know that the FBI used methods to obtain the information regarding this in a less than straight up way. We all know that touch DNA itself does not put you at the spot. I have went over that. I've talked about it. Now let's continue. Applying the test for relevancy. First, Kohberger's click activity, which shows a purchase. Now I want you to see this, because for the slow people in the back that said it's just his click activity, JB, it doesn't say that he purchased it. Oh yes, it does. Oh yes, it does. Now you could take that and say, I don't care if he purchased it or not. Okay, I can accept that. But to sit here and say that this document does not say that he purchased the K-bar knife, that is not true. It's not just his clicks. They are saying that the clicks are relevant because he purchased a K-bar knife. Now, let me ask you a question, serious question. To those K-bar knife owners out here, now I don't know, so I'm genuinely asking you. Does a knife sheath, if you purchase, does it have a serial number on it? Does it have a serial number on it? Like, or does the knife or a sheath have a serial number on it? I'm just curious. I'm legitimately asking. Please tell the truth. If you have a knife or a knife sheath, if you have either, Steph says Bryan got a new shirt for his birthday. That's why the selfie. How do you know that, Steph? Did you just make that up? Curious. How do you know something? How do you know a detail so? Okay. Mountain Man says no. I don't think. I'll check my current blade. Yeah, I'm just curious. No serial number on the K-bar. Okay, so here's the thing. That could be good news for the defense then. If there's no serial number on a sheath or blade or anything like that, there's a number on the box the knife came in. Yeah, that's good then. I'm like you, I'm straight up dude. Yeah, I hear you. My husband, Marine Corps issue K-bar, has a serial number. We got my son one 2 years ago, no serial numbers. Okay. So like ones that you get off of Amazon. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and continue. It does say that he purchased, which shows a purchase of a K-bar knife and sheath before the homicides, making it more probable than it would without the evidence. That the K-bar sheath found at the crime scene was Bryan Kohberger's. Second, Kohberger's click activity after the homicides make it more probable than it would be without the evidence that Kohberger had a reason to search for a K-bar knife and sheath after the homicides. These facts are of consequence to determining whether Kohberger committed the homicides. This evidence is clearly relevant. I agree that it's relevant. So this is the question I want to ask you. If Kohberger purchased a K-bar knife before the homicides, and he searched for another K-bar knife after the homicides, what does that mean to you? Just curious. What does that mean to you? My initial reaction is that he either lost the blade was stolen, or he threw out the blade and he was replacing it. So I do believe that the search after was a replacement. And my initial thought is that someone stole it. Yeah. But wouldn't he have searched for a new blade prior to that? The sheath is stamped with the patent number. That would be interesting. That would be, if that's the case, if that's the case, then I'd say that says a lot, right? Hear me out? Yeah, I'm hearing. I'm checking you out. Different companies make K-bars, so there will be a small differences in different sheaths from different companies. There you go. He traded the knife to Xana. No, I'm not. You just made that up. You don't get to just make something up and then say, "Hear me out." He didn't expect to get caught. Yeah. Do you understand that you're just making something? Hear me out. Hear me out. Why I make up something, and then I'm going to tell you it. You know what I mean? What are you saying it's possible he sold it to someone's drug dealer? Yeah, I mean, it is possible. But there's no proof of that, and there's been no claims of that. What's up, Joey? The problem in this shit is too many people just make shit up. You know what I mean? They're just like, well, what if there was a tunnel and he sold it to the drug dealer? And what if? What if? He says, I am making it up. I am making it up to create doubt in the juror's eyes. Well, okay, then why? This is about winning over the jurors. Okay. So you're saying that you are making it up so you are lying to win over the jurors. For what reason? Big time or whatever. You're making something up. You just admitted it in the chat room. So you can win over the jurors. For what purpose? But why would you what if he did it? So you think this is about winning so this is just about you not wanting to be wrong. So basically, you're saying you're willing to lie and make things up just so you're not wrong. You don't care if he did it or didn't do it. You just don't want to, think about what the defense should do. Oh, okay. I told you, Elizabeth, that's what these people do. They just make shit up. They just make shit up. Maybe he left a different sheet from the Amazon one. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. If it searches, we'll take it out. Yeah. So let's look at some things. Defendant argue pursuant to 143 IRE 403, the relevant evidence should be excluded. The defendant fails to show how this evidence is unfair, confusing, misleading, or would cause delay, waste time, or be cumulative. That is because it is none of these things. What is clear from the defendant's filing is that the defendant does not like this piece of state evidence. And I agree with that. The defendant argues that the Amazon's recommendation system influences what users see and click on. Yeah, but that doesn't influence what you buy. Like, it may influence what you see. Click data may influence the algorithm. We'll get to that, Roy. May affect what you see, but it doesn't affect what you buy. You understand? Like, yeah, if that's all he was looking at and it wasn't a purchase, I would agree with that. But if he bought it, that says a lot. Okay? But the purported use of this AI technology is not relevant. Even if an algorithm might suggest certain products to a customer, the algorithm would not cause a customer to repeatedly over and over the course of several days browse web pages relating to K-bar knives, sharpeners, and sheaths. That's exactly right. Check this shit out. The defendant touches on the issue of identifying the account user making the Amazon search inquiries as shown by the click activity. Defendant's motion at page 4, the state recognizes activity, but also other circumstances connect to the defendant to the original knife purchase and subsequent search activity inquiries for replacement knife and or sheath. This will include the defendant's financial activities, click activities, other events such as homicides, related purchase activity connected to the defendant, a testimony from a witness with knowledge that the defendant purchased the K-bar. So here's what you're going to get. You're going to get people that say this was a shared Amazon account. Can I ask you a question? What if said witness testimony is his father? They asked him, did you buy the knife sheath? And he's like, nah. Or did you buy the knife? So JB brings it out of you. What'd you say? He said some nasty language. I know he was half a retard, but how do you try to buy a replacement? Either he buys it or he doesn't. Surely he could have figured that out. Look, man. This whole thing, and people keep saying, well, if Kohberger was so smart, he wouldn't have made these mistakes. Guys, I've got three degrees and a high IQ myself, and I make mistakes all the fucking time, bro. Smart people make mistakes. I'm sure there's many of you that are highly intelligent, and you make mistakes. I think BK Dad orders the knife sheaths. The sheath. Why would you think that? Like, now you're just coming up with anything to not say Kohberger's guilty. I don't know who did it. I'm still not 100% on anything. I hope Kohberger gets sometimes the smarter you are, the bigger the mistake is. Yeah. Because that's one of the things that a lot of people, it's arrogance. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life just based on arrogance. So when it comes to this, man, this belief, they are grasping. A lot of grasping at straws here on both ends. And all I'm saying is connecting all the dots. Connecting all the dots to me. I don't know. It's definitely caused a pause. He didn't expect the FBI to go through his ancestry DNA. Yeah. I think BK's dad ordering knives. That's funny. BK, that's a good point, Kimberly. Maybe he wasn't alone. And look, at the end of the day, I'm not saying definitively I think he did it. I'm saying I'm side-eyeing the shit out that motherfucker now, though. I still hope he gets a fair trial. Yeah, but the knives that they took from his parents' home was not K-bars. Hell, maybe there was. Maybe we just didn't see it. But I remember that documentation using saying they connect the dots with these long curves and have lines going through Dylan. Yeah. Yeah, his dad did it. That was what they're going to say next, of course. What's up, JP? I still don't get a connection. Oh, you don't between you don't see a connection with Bryan Kohberger ordering and owning a K-bar knife? You genuinely don't? You know, like, what about the picture from that morning? Not a scratch on him. I disagree. I think he clearly had scratches or blisters between his fingers. I disagree with that completely. We looked at it earlier. Sure, he deserves a fair trial, but what I'm seeing is pretty damning. It is absolutely pretty damning. I 100% hope he gets a fair trial, though. Because, once again, you never know who's wrong when. Yes, the thumb, maybe. Yeah. And if you happen to have been killing motherfuckers by stabbing them, it makes sense that your hand might blister up a little bit. You're not saying anything, Steve. You're not saying anything. I understand you're butthurt and offended that I now am that I'm looking at this thing from both sides, and that hurts your feelings, bro. It hurts your feelings that we don't share the same opinion on the case. That I'm willing to move and change my theory, change my opinion based on evidence presented. That hurts your feelings because you're connected to the case, correct? Clearly, it upsets you, correct? That picture has location data, and there's more proof he was never in Moscow. Never in Moscow. Oh, interesting. Okay. Never have asked is what I'm curious about, too. Maybe he bought and hid it in the tunnels. Maybe. So let's go to the dates. I want to show you guys something, man. Let's go on up here. I want to take a look at this part. This part's relevant to at least discuss. Okay, here we go. Was this it? Yes. This included temporal limitations based on officers' investigation, which limited the search from March 20th to March 30th, time it was known Bryan Kohberger purchased a K-bar knife with sheath and sharpener from Amazon. in November 1st through December 6th, time right before and after the homicides, they're saying that this was when they were searching. Do you understand? They're not saying that Kohberger was searching between November 1st and through December 6th. Remember, this is when they are saying that their search was limited. Do you understand what I'm saying? Try to listen. This included temporal limitations based on the officer's investigation, which limited the search. What's up, Dixie? From March 20th through March 30th. That is saying that is the time frame of the police's inquiry into his data. They include time it was known Kohberger purchased a K-bar knife with sheath and sharpener. The next set is November 1st. This is the next group of time where they looked at his account. This does not say that Kohberger was searching from November 1st to December 6th. This is just the portion that they inquiried and plan on presenting in court. Time right before and after the homicides. They have made it clear that he was searching for a replacement after the homicides. They have made it clear that Bryan Kohberger purchased a K-bar knife. Now we have a question to ask. There's still a lot more that's going to come out. Of course, there's going to be more to come out. Well, there's been a gag. That's the most crazy statement I've ever seen. There's been a gag order on the case where Brian jogged near his home, PA not at his home. All the joggers carry knives. The bears are insane. Yeah. So I guess, well, you say, was he a knife guy? I don't know. But what I do know, I guess he walked home all bloody then. I don't know what you're saying, bro. What they have more, but damn, what else is there? Yeah. I still don't think they have a smoking gun. I think it's a lot of circumstantial evidence, but it's enough circumstantial evidence to me that I'm like, okay. You know, it's enough circumstantial evidence to me to where I look at it and I'm like, okay. It changed my mind. It makes me side-eye him, right? Black and white images from a bulb can. Oh, Jesus Christ. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into this. Let's go ahead and get into Bumfield. Let's see what Bumfield had to say about this situation.
Now, News Nation senior national correspondent Brian Enton, who's been covering this case since the very beginning. Brian, I know that literally up until this moment you have been going through these court docs, and I think you're still going through them. So there may be more shoes to drop, but let's start with what we know, and let's just start with that K-bar knife because, you know, I felt like the biggest moment in this case was that they found the knife sheath, and then the second biggest moment was that they figured out DNA on the snap, that little spot here on the knife sheath, the thing that snaps it shut. That's where that little tiny speck of DNA was, and that it matched Bryan Kohberger.
Yeah,
but now,
and that's the thing, is I think there's enough circumstantial evidence to at least make us say, damn, did he do it? Did Brian admit to owning a K-bar, which is why they got the warrant for only that short time? I don't know. It's a good question.
oh, we have him in court documents from Amazon buying a K-bar knife, a sheath, and a sharpener.
Yeah, more than 100 pages of court documents came out just within the last couple of hours, and this was buried in the documents. And you mentioned it. I mean, this is a massive deal.
Yeah.
This is a huge, huge piece of evidence, something very, very helpful to the prosecution. They are saying that between March 20th and March 30th of 2022, so that would be about 8 months before.
What I've learned about a lot of the people that tend to have a position, for instance, I find it extremely disingenuous that there are people that clearly see that Bryan Kohberger bought a K-bar. I find it disingenuous for people to say this does not even slightly affect them. For anybody to say that Bryan Kohberger buying a K-bar knife in months leading up to the murders, I think you're lying. For people to sit here and say, oh man, what's the big fucking deal? This doesn't change anything. I think you're being disingenuous. Like, if this has 0% effect on anything, like, you might be retarded. You genuinely might be retarded if that's the case. If this doesn't even make you stop, pause, like, whoa, shit. I watched Harsh earlier. Even Harsh said, shit, this does not look good. And really, to me, that's a normal human response. You know what I mean? Well, intelligent people make mistakes. Sometimes it's really dumb, man. Technically and on paper, I'm highly intelligent, but I've gotten married 3 times. And any dude in their right mind will tell you that's the dumbest move you can fucking make. Smart people make mistakes, man. It happens. What's up, Tim?
Before the murders happened, that Bryan Kohberger, through his Amazon account, bought the K-bar knife, bought the sheath, and also bought a sharpener.
So what I thought was also interesting, and I may be, superimposing my thoughts over their documents here, but it felt to me that the prosecution was making its case by saying we did not cherry pick. We didn't cherry pick anything. What we did was we found a purchase of what was a murder weapon, similar to a murder weapon and a sheath. And also, we looked at other activity, and never did he seem to be a hunter. Never did he seem to be a fisherman.
Well, another thing is you got to realize sometimes you're skilled. You could be really skilled in one thing and not skilled in another. You see what I'm saying? Nobody gives a fuck if you're out or not, Steve. Just get the way. He's like, I'm out of here. Man, you didn't announce your arrival, bitch. Don't announce your fucking departure. I can't stand when fucking cocksuckers in the chat do that. I'm out of here. You guys have infuriated me. I'm leaving. Nobody gives a fuck. You can collectively suck the chat's dick. How about that? I'm out of here. You guys don't agree with me. So, go fuck yourself. Anyways, so yeah, like it's so goofy. It's so fucking goofy. I don't get it, man. Man. Anyway, we can make me forget what the fuck I was saying.
And buying this stuff all the time.
These motherfuckers have lost their mind.
One time that he bought this kind of weapon.
Yeah, they looked at all of the activity, all of the Amazon activity for several different time periods leading up to the murders. And what's interesting is the way we found this out is there's filings going back and forth between the defense and the prosecution, because the defense is trying to get a lot of this Amazon information and
then we got another motherfucker in the chat room telling other people, I blocked you too, 12 gauge, you dope. Newsflash. If you blocked him, how in the fuck is he going to see your comment to him? Jesus Christ, the fucking sugar rush these snack cakers must have. I blocked you. What do you got to say about that? Well, he probably ain't got nothing to say about it because he can't see it because you blocked him. Duh. Duh.
Amazon activity thrown out, obviously. I mean, now we know why. It's damning to Bryan Kohberger. So they've been saying, hey, the state is cherry picking. Some of this stuff shouldn't be included. And in those filings back and forth, that's where this massive tidbit was, right? Buried in the documents that Bryan Kohberger had bought the knife sheath on Amazon.
Sure, we'll be interested to find out what his answers are to where is that knife that you proudly bought. It wasn't
These
in
motherfuckers
any
are
well, we don't know,
crazy.
but I didn't see it on a manifest of any of the search warrants at his apartment or in Pennsylvania. I didn't see a K-bar knife, a knife sharpener, or a knife sheath in anything.
Well, and that's another thing that a lot of people are going to say because they don't want to look at things from a fair state. If Kohberger really bought the knife, JB, where is it? Well, I'll tell you. If I had just happened to do some shit, you know, Jeff H. Fool, you a paid Fed agent. Why would he be a paid Fed agent? Because he has a disagreement with you? I used to really like Brian eating no more. Yeah, I hear you. Like, that's a weird statement. And that's another thing that a lot of the snack cakers will do. Because I've heard it for the last 24 hours. Somebody paid you off. You must be a paid Fed now, JB. Why? Because now I have an opinion that's different from yours? But you understand that's what these people do. So, and you see it, and they're even calling each other paid Feds. No, you guys are just normal people in a chat room. Not finding the K-bar is much worse for KB? Yeah. And I think that, or for BK, yeah. I think that ultimately, I think that is a huge problem. That if he can't produce the knife, what happened to the knife? You know. Okay, if you can't agree with him, just don't fucking, okay, you don't agree with him. There's going to be people that have a disagreement, man. Big fucking deal. I think that any of you people that are so attached to guilty or not guilty, so much so that you hate people that have a different opinion than yours, I think you're fucking retarded. All of you. If you're a guilter and you hate people that say not guilty, I think you're retarded. If you're a pro Kohberger and you hate people that say guilty, I think you're fucking retarded. This is an insignificant case of 4 people where hundreds of thousands of people have been killed since then. But you're so obsessed with this one case, you attach your emotions to it. This case doesn't mean shit. JB, do you think you can do this job in 8 minutes with a K-bar? No, I don't personally think so. It says, okay, he knows like I ain't been offered money. Oh, people offered you in your little channel money so you can have their opinion? Is that what you think? Yeah, physically, I think it would be extremely difficult. But also, I do think that 8 minutes is a long time, 13 minutes. And I say that because anyone that's ever fought in a cage, anyone that's ever been inside of a real fight, even 1 5-minute round is a long time. Let me give a shout out to Kathy, who sent $1.69. Thank you so much. They have something else. I don't really know. Yeah, don't know. Let me read a comment. I want to know how he did it to 4 people. I mean, 3 of them were chicks. I believe I could kill 3 chicks in 3 minutes, especially if they're asleep. The only real challenge was Ethan. Said I'm side-eyeing, but I'm not 100% either way. Still need a 69 in the chat. Send $1.69. Thank you so much. You know, I think people, I thought JB was going to mention retard string. Yeah, I mean, that is possible, though. And I'm just being honest, man. Like, people act like killing 3 women is a hard task. People people act like women are like some sort of like beast. Only Sharkeisha's are beasts. Do you think he did it by himself? I think if Kohberger did it, I don't think he did it by himself. Because I think that picture the next day, like, was sent to somebody. I don't know, though. I don't know. I'm not saying he did it. I'm saying I'm side-eyeing him now. Thank you, Kathy. I'm definitely side-eyeing him.
That they were able to seize from all the places that they searched of his. So it would be interesting if this had nothing to do with anything, then where's your precious K-bar knife that you spent all that money on, on Amazon back in March? And he, better have a pretty good answer for that. Let me jump to that selfie.
The DNA,
it just sent chills
and
down
the
my
women
spine.
were wasted,
To see him showered up and giving the thumbs up.
Yeah, this wasn't three Washington. Okay, let me say this as nice as I can. This wasn't three Washington, D.C. women, three Baltimore women, three Detroit women, three Chicago women. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm getting at? These were three tiny, attractive, beautiful European-based women in Idaho that were asleep and drunk, or at least close to it. Huge difference. So I think he can handle all three of those pretty easy. Yeah, I don't buy the insult there. See, Tracy, another thing is that people all of a sudden want me to reverse everything I've ever said and say, well, now I got the motive and everything figured out. No, all I'm saying is that if the dude bought the knife, that makes me side-eye him and say, oh, shit, maybe he did do it. You know what I mean? The fact is Bryan Kohberger bought a K-bar. Right before the murders. You know? They're going to say JB is the killer because he said he can kill three women. Yeah, I mean, who can't? This guy, have you seen the newly released text? Yeah, we're going to get to that here in a minute. As well.
And being super proud, looking freshly washed, right in front of the shower. And this was exactly at, was it 10:39? That photograph that was taken?
Give
a shout out to Kathy, who sent another $1, said it is BK, not KB. Kathy Bates haven't killed him bitch yet.
10:31 a.m.
10:31.
November 13th, so the day of the murders. The murders happened sometime around 4 a.m. This is 10:31 a.m. I was looking at it really closely. It looks like maybe he's in the bathroom, like in front of a shower, if you look closely. And this was just sort of buried in these new court documents. We haven't really seen photos of him like this before, but they recovered this photo from his phone. And the reason that the prosecution is so interested in this photo is because of roommate Dylan's account that he had whoever.
That's his new shirt. How do you know that, Steph? How do you know that? Steph in the chat room said that's his new shirt. How do you know that? He would have been so high in that pit. Yeah, Kohberger doesn't. This picture doesn't do Kohberger well. Like, let's be honest. This Kohberger, I can't say. Of course you can't say. Dude looks like a dork, honestly. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he looks rough right here. Like, this is not a flattering picture, right? This, like, I'm going to be honest. Unlike most people, I've never looked at a Kohberger picture and said he looks creepy. This picture, he looks sick. He does look like he was on dope. He said, people in the chat, yeah, something about the picture looks rough. The picture it just is not good. Like, this was not a good day for us pro Kohbergers, right? This just was not a good last 48 hours, 24 hours. He looks pale. He does, man. Something is wrong. For the first time ever, I was like, damn, this motherfucker does look creepy. There's something that's just like, I just can't put my finger on it, man. he looks ill and skinny. He does, Lenore. You're 100% right.
Whoever came into their home had bushy eyebrows. That was one of the main things that she said. So this is apparently the photo closest to that time period of when the murders happened, and the prosecution wants to...
Yeah, are those earbuds or are those earbuds? He is vegan, JB. What are you saying? Most vegans are nutrient deficient. That's a good point. That's a good point.
Use this photo at trial to show the jury so they can look at this picture for themselves and decide whether or not, he's got bushy eyebrows.
Wow, super clever, right? Prosecutors can say, this is 10:30 in the morning, and look at the bushy eyebrows that, couldn't have possibly been plucked 6 hours before if this is the guy that Dylan saw. But, there's the double entendre here, and that is he is freshly showered and proud. Why? 6 hours after the murders, and an hour and a half prior to the 911 call even being placed. This is the photo he is taking of himself in front of the shower. Thanks for watching. Go to...
Steve says he doesn't look like that in court. It looks like an old pic. Yes. From November 13, 2022. We have a date in which that picture was taken and time. Do you see what I'm saying? Yes. November 13, 2022 is obviously a different date than March 20th, 2025. So, the guilters hate me. Yeah, I bet they do. They hated me, though. And here's the thing. Now, by the way, the guilters still won't like me. The guilters still won't like me. Because I won't immediately co-sign their bootlicking shit either. I believe that anyone that is stuck one way or another I believe any human being that's not willing to move a little bit, wiggle a little bit, pay attention, anybody that is looking at these cases and is not open to changing their position based on evidence or lack of evidence or things that we learn, I don't like any of those people on either side. Thank you, 12 Gauge. I don't like any of those people on either side. If you're so far guilty, you're like, it has to be him 100%, no other possibilities. I don't like it. And if you're the opposite, and you're like, 100% he didn't do it, blah, no way he did, I think that you have to... Do you see what I'm saying? Like you have to be fluid with this shit. You have to be willing to change your opinion based on new information given. I'm like that with any subject. Any subject. His birthday is the 21st of November. He received his birthday gifts from the 16th on the UPS. How do you know this? You have to look at cases objectively, not subjectively. Yeah, exactly. 100% agreed. So, guys, that is the click activity. That is what we got going on here. We had more shit. There's some other news, I want to show you this. Was he a knife collector? I don't believe so. I want to show you this. Guys, I did not know this. They got the car that night. A lot. A lot more than I thought. I want you to look right here at all these different times they got his car on camera. I'm nervous about that one. How do you know he collected knives? You saw him pulled over and looking like this. So I'm going with this old picture when he was on dope. Oh, look, there's the shower curtain the guilters say he used. You saw a shower curtain? I didn't see a shower curtain. I didn't see it. Maybe I don't think this is the boom either. Yeah. I don't think so either. I find it interesting that I would love to see all this shit. Go back to inventory. Yeah. I find it interesting to know they got him on all these different cameras at this time. This is the different cameras that. Very interested to know what comes out with this. Like, is there going to be a good camera shot that definitively shows the car? You know what I mean? That's the curious. That's the curious. Drunk Turkey has better photos. He showed ones that haven't been released. Showed on live stream undeniable photos. Photos of what? Photos of what? I don't. Photos of what? One of the times it looks like he's in two different places. Are they that close together? I know what you're saying too, and that's a good point. Because you're looking at the 329 shower curtain on the right of the pic. I wondered if that's what that was. That's a good point. That's a great point. You can see the little folds of the shower curtain about chin level, weight off to the right. That's what I saw earlier, and I was curious if everybody agreed, if that's what everybody thought. Because if you look, let's look at it again. I feel like I can see right here to the right where his thumb up is. If you look right next to it, that looks like it could be a shower curtain. Do they take pictures of his hands when they get arrested? Sometimes, not necessarily. I got a ticket cam in the mail once here from Marshall. Yeah, that's happens. And Taylor said it was a shared Amazon account. Well, they try and say father bought it, but they also have a eyewitness. They also have a witness saying that he bought it. So maybe the father made a witness statement that he didn't buy the sheets for himself. I don't know. Guessing he got the photos early, just like the phone call. So you say of the Elantra? Okay, so Steve Stevenson says Jeff behind his safe keyboard. Should he be scared for disagreeing with you, Steve? Are you going to assault him? Are you going to hurt him? Are you going to beat him up because he doesn't agree with you? Steve Stevenson? Oh, he's brave because he dares to disagree with you. Usually the keyboard warrior is the guy saying that shit. Yeah, I bet you could disagree with me behind the computer. You know what I mean? He said he's trying. I'll fuck you. I will get your ass beat amid. What the fuck did he just say? I'll fuck you. I'll get your ass beat amid offer. Let me get this done so I can get to my normal people live stream with the news and politics. let me get this shit done. Also, guys, I don't know if you know this, but they are going to try to say that there's potentially an alternate perpetrator connected to the crime. They're going to try to say that. And that makes sense. They have denied Cy Ray. He cannot be there on April 9th and 10th. However, there is rumor saying that he could, Skype into it or whatever it's called. Steve, little boy, don't mess with them Texas boys. Yeah. C-Dog sent 5. He said, good shit, man. The wife and I love your content. Thank you, C-Dog, man. Hope you're doing good. That's a good number at the end of your name, C-Dog 88. Good number. At least you're trying to see things objectively, of course. Of course. Yeah, it's called opinions, yeah. No, Steve, I've dealt with you personally. I've seen how you talk to people the minute they say something you disagree with. I've seen it with my own eyes. I've personally never said, thank you, Steph. I've personally never said anything foul to you, and I can show you countless times. You cussed me out or said something rude to me in my own comments. So I can show you 0 times Jeff has. And me and Jeff has disagreed for years on this case. Birth year, dog, still good number. Probably different reasons we have, but good number. You understand what I'm saying, though? I can show your comments just to me, who has never had a personal issue with anything when you set it up with you at all, Steve Stevenson. So it's not hard to believe that you're in the chat room starting shit with people. You're one of those guys, but yet you're calling him the keyboard warrior. I've seen your comments. I know who's the keyboard warrior. I know you are the keyboard warrior. Anybody that's internet comments are nothing but negativity and tough guy talk, usually they're the keyboard warrior. Just letting you know. 88, when you know. That's right. That's right. Many of them don't. But thank you, C-Dog. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Good stream today. I appreciate the entertainment while I work. No problem, man. Appreciate you. Let me put C on here. C-Dog. There we go. I'm pretty sure I put Kathy. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and get back to this. Steve and I went back through the chat, and Steve has not said anything ridiculous. The only person it has is here is you, Steve. In fact, yeah, JB, I didn't agree with you for a while, but I still listened and kept my mouth shut. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Disagreeing is fine, man. I mean, you got to realize these aren't. He bought a knife, 8 months trying a crime. Yeah. I don't think like you're gonna buy a knife the day before you go commit a crime. Did he buy the sheath? It came with the knife itself. Yeah, yeah, I would say so, and a sharpener. Wayne's World. And I saw that comment a lot too, Carolyn. People are like, "Well, he bought that thing 8 months before the crime." Yeah, I mean. It's not like you're on your way to commit the crime and you're like, I think I'll pick me up the thing I'm going to commit the crime with. You know what I mean? Like if somebody got shot, if someone got shot, how much sense would it make to be like, man, JB bought that gun 3.5 years ago. Yeah, he didn't do it. He bought that gun 3.5 years ago. What's up, ARAs? Hope you're doing good. You know I'm innocent until proven guilty. Yeah, absolutely. BK, I don't know if he was a nobody in life. I've always seen him with a lot of pictures with girls and all kinds of shit. With that attitude, like we're stupid if we don't agree with him and you're just trying to turn around on me because you're grifting. Do you know what grifting means, Steve? Do you know what grifting means? I have a strong feeling that most people on the internet have no clue what grifting means. Grifting, let me just for the record, grifting is if I truly like Pepsi, but I'm saying, guys, you guys should drink Coke to get paid for it. We don't care about him owning a certain knife. I'll be fucked up if he bought the cheese. Well, yeah, he bought it. Yeah. He bought the knife sheath, and the knife sharpener. Yeah. But anyway, at the end of the day, yeah, I don't know how to respond to that. But the truth of this is, I honestly don't believe people know what grifting is. Grifting is when you lie or take a position you don't, basically false advertising type shit. Grifting would be if I ran a liberal political channel, knowing that I'm really a conservative MAGA guy. That would be grifting. Grifting isn't just because people make money on the internet. That's called business. It's called being smart. Like shilling, yeah. Well, shilling is a little bit more respectable. Shilling is just when you're hawking some shit, selling some shit. Grifting is a completely different thing. Grifting is when you're being fraudulent. Does that make sense? You're flattered that I actually talked to me live? That's a weird thing. The trail of hiding evidence is like digital footsteps. Agreed. Yeah, exactly. The knife. Thank you, Demon Dog. The knife came with it. Let me give a shout out to my boy Roy, who sent $9. I want to know who he sent the picture to. That's the question. Roy sent $9. He said, "Tip, thank you, brother. Thank you." Grifting, someone who dishonestly obtains money or other things by tricking or swindling. That's a perfect definition. And that's one thing that most people have to say about me. I'm pretty honest. There is no fucking. I'm just telling you what I think. You may disagree with it, but there's no grift to it. Thank you, Roy. I think you make your evaluation based on evidence. Yeah. I mean, there are certain things. There are certain things for sure that I'm biased on. I report, like when I'm doing my news channel, I report heavily on black crime because I'm biased against black crime. I clearly am conservative, so I'm biased towards MAGA. Like, I mean, everybody has their biases, but are they lying to you? That's the question. The beautiful Kaylin sent 25. She said, "We're dealing with the cakeys." Thank you so much. Thank you so much. What a BK. Yeah, I don't know who he sent the photo to. That's the question. Thank you, Kaylin. That's so awesome of you. Shit. 205. That's going to be 205. Yeah. Oh, no. 110. No. Yeah. Thank you so much. What a BK sent that photo. I have no clue who he sent it to. Honestly. So let's go ahead and get over back to this. So, by the way, the side ray for some reason is not. I think people can recognize your bias without being an impairment to objectivity. Yeah. Well, I'm biased towards innocent until proven guilty. However, like I tend to always take the side, at least when I'm analyzing a case, of you got to prove. I look at it as a juror. When I look at these cases, I look at it as a juror. Like that's the position I come from. I mean, I appreciate you didn't block my. I don't block people unless they do too many personal attacks, and mainly on the audience. Like if you started talking about Jeff's wife or something and doxing her, then I would have blocked you. Trust me, I don't block people just because they say the shit. Even if you say mean shit to me, I don't care. But anyway, I forgot what I was just saying. Oh yeah, Cy Ray, they're not gonna let him. I wonder why that is. I wonder why they're not gonna let him go personally. We do have some information here. Now, I do want to go over this with you guys before I get up out of here, because this is very important. Oh, yeah, thank you, Kaylin. That's what I was going to do, put Kaylin's name on there. Thank you so much, Kaylin. That was so nice of you. She said, "For dealing with the snackies." Here we go. I want to show you guys this, and I'll give you my take on this. I think without a shadow of a doubt, this proves there was no frozen shock phase. Would you be looking for a plea deal at this point? No, not under, even if he did it. Before we get to these text messages, if I was Bryan Kohberger, and whether I did it or did not do it, I would not be looking for a plea deal. I'm sorry. I think a plea deal in any situation where you're throwing your life away. Will you be covering politics today? Yeah, Demon Dog. I'm supposed to start over there at 11. I probably won't start over there till 11:30. Because after this, I'm going to smoke, take a piss, shit like that. But listen to what I'm saying. Thank you, Caitlin. Thank you, beautiful. Really appreciate you. You do not plea under any circumstances. Because when you're dealing with life, yeah, he's facing death, but listen, man, if you only got one shot at not doing prison for the rest of your life, wouldn't you take it? Like, whether you did it or not. I want you to understand, going to a state penitentiary for the rest of your life when you're only 30, you have. Because you realize that's the only plea they're going to offer him is no death penalty. Do you see what I'm saying? If you have only one shot at not doing the rest of your life behind bars, which is a not guilty verdict, you have to take it. Why would anyone sign their life away? Because whether you get a death penalty or not, you're dead. You take it to trial so you can appeal. You can't appeal a plea bargain, guys. If you sign a plea, you can't appeal shit. You're done. Even if later on, I figured for 15 to 30 years, same thing. Yeah. Kohberger's got, you got to realize there's 4 dead bodies. He will never see, yeah, you don't sign that plea. You don't sign that plea, man. So do I think he will sign the plea? Absolutely not. He would be a goddamn fool to sign that plea. And I'm going to be honest with you. I would rather die than spend 60 years, 50, 60, probably, but to be honest, because it's healthy in there, I would rather die than go spend 50, 60 years in prison, which is probably what he's looking at. You take that shit to jury trial. And if you get the death penalty, because even if you get the death penalty, you're going to be on death row for fucking 20 to 30 years anyway. Especially in the shoe, absolutely. Absolutely. You're going to be even if he gets the death penalty, he'll be waiting for 20, 30 years. It's not like he's going to get the death penalty and then be killed the next day. Yeah, I'd fight and take my chances too. Anybody that's ever been in a state penitentiary will tell you. I'm telling you right now, this shit is not. Hey, Martin sent 25. Thank you, Martin. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you, man. You guys make it to the point where I'm glad I start to live stream over here once in a while. Maybe it's not a bad business decision. Thank you so much, Martin. Thank you guys, man. You guys are awesome. Just for the record, says big time. I'm waiting to see what he had to say. Yeah, I listen, man. I wouldn't do it. I was not. He used to be a hard lifestyle. He's vegan. Yeah, especially Ad Sagan and DR. Yeah, I wouldn't do it. I'm just telling you now, as somebody that's been in a state penitentiary, I'm telling you it's not fun. Jail's worse, but state penitentiaries are not fun. And then keep in mind. Let me explain something to you. When you're a famous name, you're a dead man walking. When you're a notorious or infamous name, you're a dead man walking. Can anybody here tell me why? Thank you, big time. Let me explain this to you. Because prison is very much about clout. Let me explain something to you. Killing J.B. Gunner means nothing. Killing Bryan Kohberger, the notorious, because let me tell you something. When people hear you just got convicted of killing 4 people, oh, that's a tough guy, right? Everybody in prison is trying to be the guy. So if you take out someone that murdered 4 people, you get cred in prison. It's very much so a social credit score that's in prison. Very much so. You become, that's the point in prison. You want to become the big dog. You want to have all the commissary. You want to run the store. You want to have the squares. You want to have the dope. Let me make this, there's no doubt about it. You want to be bigger. You want to be that guy. That's the way prison is. It is very much so a social pyramid that's in there. No doubt. That's why Chauvin is such a target. Absolutely. The bigger your name, the more reward you get socially credit-wise in prison if someone takes you out. P. Diddy, I guarantee you he's not. Now, there are some people that to have money so people won't fuck with you necessarily. But then at the same time, look at Jeffrey Dahmer. Look what happened to him. People wanted to be the guy to kill Jeffrey Dahmer. If Diddy gets convicted, people are going to want to be the guy to kill Diddy. Tyson was cool, yeah. Now, Tyson was pumping money into the prison. He was up there. Well, I'm not in Indiana no more. Me and Tyson went to the same facility. He pumped money in there and built the whole gym. He was in Plainfield when he did that. He built IYC's entire prison. What's up, Jenks? How you doing? He's in the entire gym. Like he brand new gym into that prison. Thanks to Tyson. Sub-society, subculture, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's get to these texts real quick. Guys, I want to say this about these texts. Now that I kind of did my, JB, now the house torn down, the jury can't show up at 4 a.m. Yeah. I want to say this. Now that I showed you the shit that goes against Kohberger, let me show you the shit that proves that a lot of these statements we've heard is wrong. Guys, the girls were not sleeping. There was no sleep. I want to know what the girls were doing for 8 hours. There clearly is no frozen shock face. There clearly wasn't them sleeping until noon. Clearly, there was, and let me show you what we got. There's actually, so we're going back to November 13th. What's up, Pixie? Let me ask you a question. How normal is this? Let's look at the very first one. DM text to the Uber driver inquiring if he was driving. Can I ask you a question? Okay, did DM order the Uber for them, or I'm curious about this. Like, why? How would DM? Because that says text, right? That doesn't say using the Uber app. I guess my question that I have here is, why is Dylan Mortensen texting the Uber driver if the Uber driver was for Kaylee? What am I missing here? I'm curious about that shit. Perhaps she needed him. Yeah. But what's the likelihood that they have the Uber driver's personal number? Says she may have wanted some action. Yeah, well, we're going to get to that. Because I'm going to show you something that's really fucking big. EG texted DM confirming he was driving. So does Dylan know this person? I don't know. Maddie calls Bethany Funk at 2:53 a.m. Now look at this shit. About 10 minutes before the murders, or maybe 15. Dylan Mortensen creates a new contact in her phone. Why? You know what I'm saying? Like, who's the new contact? Whose number was she saving at 3:51 in the morning? Like, to me, that's some wild shit. Look, we've all been there. When you get new people, because think about, all right, usually, when you say, like, usually you're meeting people, you're getting their numbers, that's not really a 4 o'clock in the morning type of thing. I guess it's possible. But who the fuck number was she creating a new contact for at 4 o'clock in the morning? Let me go change my scheduled time on my other show real quick. Give me just a second. Them motherfuckers over there gonna be pissed. I'm gonna change them to noon. I gotta go over there real quick. Just give me 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. Give me 1 second. There we go. All right, back to what we were doing. Sorry about that. While BK sits there silent, DM and Bethany will get up on the stand and explain themselves. Maybe. JB, stop multitask. Sorry about that. So, yeah, they expected me live at 11, so I had to change that. Got to rewind and catch up. So did he buy the knife? Yeah, he bought it. So I want you to understand, though, right here, there is no woke up out of my sleep due to voices. That whole shit was a lie. Like, Dylan wasn't woke up out of her sleep. This is clear. Now, Bethany Funk calls Dylan at 4:19. This is after the murders had started, and I think they left. Dylan calls Xana at 4:20. I mean, she might have dozed off. That is possible. He says, "Is this okay? I'm following you there. I hear you there." Dylan then calls Kaylee at 4:20. So now they're calling the other ones. For 41 seconds, Dylan calls Bethany. 4:21, Bethany calls Xana. So now they're calling the girls frantically. He even called Ethan at 4:22. And then they texting back and forth to each other, and we've all seen all these texts. We've seen all these. But what we haven't seen is all these after that's done. At 4:24 a.m., this is after all of this scary shit. They make their last calls, and then Dylan Mortensen at 4:27, an outgoing call. Don't know who that was to. Then she starts Snapchatting, outgoing messages. Who are those Snapchats to? Maybe to the girls, the victims. 4:27, 4:28, they're calling them back and forth. So you could see, at this point, they're frantically calling them. 4:32, and then 4:34, Bethany asks a Snapchat. And then Instagram. And then there wasn't nothing for a couple of hours. And then Bethany at 7:30 calls her dad. You're pretty high up there, my man. I'm pissed today, though. First time. I'm dumbfounded that you think I've said a lot of bullshit to you, JB. You have. Listen, there are some people that are very rude, typically. And I let it go because I talk shit, too. I call y'all snack cakers and shit. A lot of times I'm fucking with you and joking with you. But no, I know which commenters consistently say rude or negative shit. That seem like they're trolling. I know which commenters do that. I do read all your comments. She was watching the gun show for 3 hours. That's a good point. That's a good point. So anyway, so she chills out for 3 hours. Nothing going on there. And then at 8 o'clock, they start calling, like Bethany starts calling her dad. And then 30 minutes later calls her dad. Then at 8 o'clock calls another number. Then at 8:01 calls home. Then at 8:09, so she was frantically trying to get a hold of her dad, Bethany was. Dylan Mortensen all this time. At 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock, she was on Instagram that whole time. Exactly, Jenks. So for 2 hours, all these broken shock phases. For 2 hours, she was actually on Instagram, scrolling Instagram. 8:41, 8:42, Bethany Funk takes photos. What photos is that? So they've had this scary night. So much so, Bethany's frantically calling her parents. Dylan's on Instagram and shit, just looking at people's fucking chicken dinners and shit. Hey, and then Bethany starts taking selfies or whatever the fuck at 8:41. 9 o'clock, mom texts Bethany. And then we don't get nothing until 10 o'clock. DM messages, Dylan messages, incoming and outgoing, Snapchat, Dylan on Instagram. Dylan's looking for a new job on Indeed. Dylan Snapchat messages. Now, remember when they said there was a lot of fucking... remember when they said that a lot of people in the... So clearly, all of this is happening before they dialed 911, by the way. The dead bodies were already in there. The smell, I guess they can't smell this shit. Remember, they had been through this scary thing the night before. DM calls dad is different than DM calls JM. Therefore, JM is not dad. Yeah, exactly. So, JM at 11:21 texts Dylan, or Bethany. DM on Instagram still at 11 o'clock. Doing Instagram and messages, DM to KG, Kaylee. So at this point, motherfuckers are still, Dylan is still texting Kaylee. 11:30, Dylan was on Instagram and messaging. Then Dylan's on Yik Yak. Dylan's on TikTok, and now they're on TikTok. Then Dylan messages on Snapchat at 11:30. And then finally her and her dad text at 11:39. Bethany calls JM at 11:49. JM texts to Dylan. I don't know who JM is. If you know who JM is. No, I hear you there, Steve. It's all good, brother. As you see, I've never blocked you. JM texts DM. Who is JM? Is there anybody in the audience that knows who JM is? So then Bethany also texts JM at 11:51. JM texts Bethany. JM texts. So there's a lot of text between these guys. 11:54, 3 texts to Bethany. 11:57, Dylan's on Instagram. 11:56, while Dylan's on Instagram, Bethany calls 911. Okay, the state has selected text messaging as excited utterances and present sense impression. The totality of circumstances defeat the state's request. This is coming from the defense. Jenna McClure, Zach McClure's sister. Okay. Okay, thank you. Bethany and Dylan texted each other a handful of times and they were in the same bedroom. They were in the same bedroom. What kind of sense does that make? If Dylan did indeed run down to Bethany on the first floor, why were they texting each other in the same bedroom? That makes no sense. They were together with the ability to talk to each other. They were not asleep for 8 hours. This is what the defense is saying on the right. The messages the state seeks omission of as exceptions to hearsay begin with a call and a message about being confused. The bodies wouldn't smell that bad in that time frame. Okay, thank you, Audrey. After texting each other and unsuccessfully speaking with any of the roommates, after texting with each other and unsuccessfully speaking with any of the roommates, the pair were together. The analysis has to be done in the moment utterances were made. Text messages, and in this case, Dylan first claims confusion. Then after communicating with Bethany, claims fear to leave her room. Despite her stated fear of leaving the room, she does so and joins Bethany downstairs. To get to Bethany's bedroom, Dylan passed the front door of the residence. Bethany was steps from the front door. Neither of them left the house. Neither of them called friends, fought family, law enforcement for help. Instead, both have a substantial amount of activity beginning in the earnest hour, less than 4 hours after DM made her way to Bethany's room. Bethany and Dylan communicate with friends and parents, and DM is on social media. Yeah, this is wild, man. This is wild. No question. How dare you correct me? Yeah, didn't the AT say all the doors were open to? I have not seen that necessarily, though. I have not seen that necessarily. I mean, I've heard it, of course, just like everybody else. In the beginning, there was rumors that at 8:30 in the morning, a neighbor said the front door was open at 8:30 in the morning. You know what I mean? My position on all of this, to be perfectly honest, is that it is very sus. Like the fact that those girls were up, but I do have to say, maybe they just didn't think there was a killing done. You know what I mean? I understand it's easy for us as 40, 50-year-old people to look at it and say, I wouldn't have done that. Why didn't they call 911? Why didn't they do this? Man, I don't know what I would have done at that age. Sound like they were high as fuck. Yeah. They just made bad decisions, and I agree. I do not think that Dylan and Bethany was involved in this crime. No matter who did it. No matter who did it. Say, excuse me, I'm 24. Oh, that just means you got good pussy and you're a little bit, and you probably need to listen more. That's all that means. Sure, it don't make sense how often there's how often is there a quadruple homicide? I agree. But, agreed. I mean, look, man, what would we have done in that position? I don't know, man. Especially if I was drunk. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. If they didn't think there was a killer at 8, 9, 10, go to Kaylee and Maddie's room is confusing for sure. Yeah. And then to hear their voice on that 911 call later, oh, man. Maybe she got turned out for some dope. Maybe. I'm going to just be honest, man. I just don't... all the attacks against the roommates as if they had something to do with it. You know. Would have been calling some booty call. Come over. Yeah. Yeah. If they were drunk, high, they could have been scared, get in trouble. That's another thing. Now, by the way, it does still leave open the possibility that they were getting rid of dope. It is possible. But that doesn't change whether... It doesn't change a lot about the crime, is what I'm saying. Why not go in the house right away if they thought she was just passed out? Why not go in-house then right away? Well, they did. They were in there for quite some time. I mean, there's a lot of whys we can ask. Why? How come these little young 20-year-olds don't do this? Anybody that's ever raised kids, man? How many of you have raised kids till they're 20 and beyond? How many of you have looked at your 20-year-old child like, why is this little dumb motherfucker doing this shit? A serious question. How many of you have 18, 19, 20-year-old children and look at them still like, why is this little dumb motherfucker doing this? You know what I mean? Like, so let me give a shout out to Shepard. Thank you, Shepard. Shepard sent 10. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate you, Shepard. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I said no, but I said it about my 11-year-old boys. Yeah, wait till they turn 21. You're going to be saying the same shit. If my grandparents were alive right now, they'd still be saying, this dumb motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's easy to look at 20-year-olds and say, man, these people are foolish. They're dumb. Like, you don't understand why they do what they do. I don't understand people that watch Ticker-Tocker or whatever the fuck it's called. How the fuck you only got an attention span for 15-second videos? That sounds like some dumb shit to me. That sounds like some dumb shit. Thank you, Shepard. Shepherd's pie. That's some good shit. I had shepherd's pie this week. Good shit. Thank you. I'm just being honest, man. You know what I mean? So it's easy to look at these 20-year-olds and say, man, they were just, a lot of 20-year-olds have an IQ of my thermostat. Yeah. And the attention span's even worse. Like, they might have genuinely been scared. They may have been really worried about bushy eyebrows. I didn't be like, and then forgot about it 10 minutes later. Meat, potatoes, and corn only. There you go. You know what I mean? So I can't believe I just now hit like. Sorry, JB. So my position with the girls, the biggest question is what drove them out of the house that morning. They went from thinking they were praying to not, or really not. I don't know. Not to mention they're selfish as hell. Yeah. They probably were intimidated by law enforcement because they had been there before. Yeah, I mean, the thing about it, that's a good point too. Were they being pranked? That's another thing. At the end of the day, I think most people, like in this situation, and just, you're looking at 20-year-olds, man, they probably didn't think that, because I want you to ask yourself, we all would be in disbelief if we learned that 4 people were murdered in the house that we lived in. At that moment, we were like, holy what? You know what I mean? Like so that thought probably didn't even go through their mind, right? No matter, in my opinion, that thought wouldn't even go through your mind. Like, why would you just, there's got to be something wrong. 4 people must be dead here. You know what I mean? At 20, everyone thinks they're invincible, so they definitely thought prank before. Yeah, nobody was thinking mass murder. And I think once it hit them, it hit them. You know what I mean? I think once they hit them, it hit them. That's the truth. So, is what they did questionable? Yeah, but I think a lot of people would, man. It's okay to question it. I just don't understand people that think they're involved. I don't understand, like, to me, it just doesn't, I don't know, it was party house, they never expected something like that. Yeah? Yeah, I agree. They were very desensitized to violence to young people today. They just, yep. Liars, JB, shock phase my ass. Yeah, no, I agree with that. They may have lied to you. Or they may have, yeah. But that doesn't mean they did anything. That doesn't mean they did anything or committed a crime. They may have gotten their words wrong. But I agree. There definitely was no shock phase, clearly, and they clearly weren't asleep. So, I wonder what Steve Gonsalves had to say about it. Let's check it out.
Now, Steve Gonsalves. Steve lost his daughter, Kaylee, that tragic morning. We've talked a lot, Steve, over the course of this last 2.5 years, and it's been hard on you more than anybody, just with the gag order and hearing things that make you think there was a chance that maybe Bryan Kohberger could beat the rap. You saw what I saw. You saw what Bryan Enton just laid out.
Yeah, exactly.
There is a knife purchase.
No question. Whoever had the heavy breathing was, yeah. You can, like the guy, well, I don't know who the guy was. Whoever the guy was, like, that was like, get out, get out, get out. Whoever saw that shit, you can tell that it hit him at that exact moment.
There is a sheath purchase, a sharpener, and that selfie, and that map. Tell me your thoughts as you see all this new evidence come out.
We've been sitting on this one a little while. I'm glad. I mean, finally. I've always felt like anything coming out of the court that any of the fact finders are going to have to see is the safest thing in the world to show.
Yeah.
You know, what could mess this up is a jury hearing all these YouTube people that, like, you know, just make up stuff and call speculation. Speculation is just another word for lying, creative lying or storytelling. But these are facts. So I don't know why we're 2.5 years into this trial or into this process that we're finally letting out the facts. But man, it feels good. It feels good to see the true fact and all the work and everything that these guys have done. I just wish we didn't have to wait 2.5 years to see it.
The detail is remarkable, and the photograph of Bryan Kohberger in front of a shower at 10:31.
Yeah, I do want to make this clear. Speculation is not lying. However, I will agree with him with one part. Because I've seen people just make things up. I've seen it with my own eyes. You know what I mean? So I know when someone is speculating. And I know, like, or theorizing. And I know when people just flat out are making things up. When they're just flat out lying. I've seen them do it. I have seen people say, if you look at Banfield and you look at the phone real quick and the boy that got stopped in Banfield, you could see pictures of Kaylee. It's a lie. They just made it up. That's it. So in some ways, I agree with Gonsalves. But speculation is not lying. But there are real people that come out here and lie. Both in the comment section and on YouTube videos. Who was the rapper Wigger that said, oh man, Bryan Kohberger called my show, yo? I don't remember who the rapper Wigger was. I know you guys remember. But you guys know who he was, the YouTuber that was the rapper Wigger, and he had a spirit box. He liked to talk to dead people. One of them goofy motherfuckers. You guys know who I'm talking about. But he was a liar too.
AM, seemingly very proud. When was the first time you saw that?
Just a few hours ago. You know, that's an FU to Idaho. I just went into your state. I just killed your kids in their beds, and you're not going to catch me. I'm just going to shower up here, clean out the last bit of the evidence, probably take the shower curtain. Who knows where that's at? But, yeah, that's a challenge to Idaho.
Isn't this, I'm just curious though. I mean, I understand what Steve's saying. T-Rev is a DoorDasher now. Yep, that's what happens when you bullshit people. You end up having to become a DoorDasher instead of remain a YouTuber. That's all I can say. Anyways, what is Steve talking about? Because I'm curious, is this this looks like one of them little shower liners right here. I mean, I do think that's a shower liner. Fuck you for that, JB. Hey, just saying. That's all I'm saying. I understand times are tough with that Biden economy still being around. But, hey. I wonder about the validity of the area Q1 pour on back of the sheath. Mixture of blood DNA. Given by one YouTuber. Oh, I have no clue what the hell that is.
So I hope everyone.
Yeah, it looks like the corner of a shower itself, too. Yeah, it could be.
We need to bring everything at this guy.
Were you at all made aware that this massive document dump was about to happen tonight, and that we'd see the map, how many times the white Elantra was seen in front of?
Should I look no shower curtain? I don't know if there was or wasn't there. A lot of people saying they're seeing something.
Your daughter's house, that we'd see that photograph, that we'd see the evidence, the purchase order for the K-bar knife sheath and the sharpener. Did you know this was coming?
I didn't know when it was coming, but I've seen some of this footage before. I would suspect even.
Yeah, I think I see the shower curtain. I do think I see the shower curtain.
In the officer seen some of the stuff. So I know how powerful it is. I know how good it is. I had no clue who I was looking at. I had no clue what I was looking at. I just seen cars. I seen a white Elantra. I seen it come and go. I didn't know what I was looking at. I didn't even know what the time of the crime line was. But
yeah, I do see that.
It's just hard to sit on the truth for so many years and be told that you need to do everything to help the person who killed your daughter. You're supposed to help him. And it's like, yeah, it's very frustrating because I just want the truth out, and I want people to see what the truth is. Stop listening to these idiots that think, speculation is evidence. It's not. It's absolutely not. What's coming out of the courtroom right now is evidence. And the fact finders, they'll decide if it's one way or the other, but it's still facts.
I'll go one further. This is some of the strongest evidence I've seen yet since they found the sheath and since they found the DNA on the sheath matched Bryan Kohberger. I thought of you immediately, Steve. I thought, man, this is going to be good news for him, because all you want is a case that's strong.
You know, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't blame Steve right here. You know how many YouTubers and people I've seen go at Steve and say, hey, Steve had something to do. Like, that's another thing these people have even made up. Steve Gonsalves had something to do with it. Steve Gonsalves owed a drug dealer. Steve Gonsalves. Do you know how bad that would have to fucking hurt if your daughter got slaughtered and you got some snack cakers on the goddamn internet saying you're involved? Do you know how absolutely heart-wrenching that would have to be? Sent to your email. Thank you, bro. I'll check it out for sure.
Am I wrong in what I imagined you feel like?
Yeah.
Evidence tag on the photo.
We were torn when this all happened, but I really wanted to embrace and love the community that I'm a part of. I wanted to say that we did everything right and we got the right guy. But then we just, this whole process, and I don't understand it, guys. I'm just a dad trying to like rage through this to figure out how to get justice for his daughter. No, nothing holding me back. No rules, no nothing. I'm just trying to get the evidence and the truth for my daughter. So that's what I was doing. But now, 2.5 years later, I've learned there's an order of things and all this stuff. But it feels good to show and highlight all the hard work that the FBI did and Moscow Police Department. It feels good to see that. And it's just a little puzzling why we had to wait so long, but it feels like we're finally getting there. And
I agree with that. It feels good to start to get a little bit of disclosure.
Some of these trolls can go find the bridge that they came from and return to it.
Thanks for watching.
Well, let's see. AT is steering the bus. The FBI driving the train. He wants to know why his daughter and these people in here today think that Steve G has something to do with it. Yeah, I know, Gobbles. It's a wild thing, right? It's good to see you, Gobbles. How you been, beautiful? So my position on all of this is that I do believe that the Amazon purchase looks bad for Kohberger. I do. And I also think that the text messages looks bad for Bethany and Dylan. But I stand behind my belief that they were just young, dumb little broads that just made. I don't think they knew what the fuck they were doing. You know what I mean? I just honestly don't think that Dylan and Bethany knew that there was a crime that happened. And so they didn't think it was this serious. Who would have thought it was this serious? And I hope that Bryan Kohberger, for his sake, has a good comeback or proof that the knife that he bought and the sheath that he bought was not the one at the crime scene, and that his knife isn't missing. Because I do believe this all comes down to what is the public going to say. Guys, I have supported Bryan Kohberger for 2.5 years. And for the first time, I've been nudged towards, oh shit, he might have did it. And if that could happen to me, who has followed every aspect of this case, I've made 250 videos on this case. I have followed it since minute one. If you look, this channel right here was created a week before these crimes. I have followed this since day one. And for me, if I can look at this and say, holy fuck, my mind is a little bit wobbled right now. then imagine a normal person that's just been listening to nothing but the mainstream media. So the normal person, I guarantee you they can find 12 that will convict Bryan Kohberger just off this circumstantial evidence. Gobbles, the beautiful Gobbles, sent 50 bomb into the tip jar. Thank you, Gobbles. 195. Look at that shit. Let me get you. You guys showed up big today. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Gobbles. Tell them, JB, we're in the tunnels in the case, of course. If the knife wasn't missing, they would have found it. Exactly. I think DM is involved. What do you mean? You think Dylan Mortensen's killing people? I think she's fled because she's scared of DM and her involvement. Something. Yeah, I don't know. That's a lot of speculation. I mean, you're entitled to it, though. I disagree heavily, Danny. I disagree heavily. But, I mean, shit, you're entitled to it. Like I said, it's all speculation and circumstantial from everything I get clean so far. This is where the money matters. $500,000 defense versus $50,000 defense. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I think normies are going to convict him. I found your channel within days of this crime. Yeah. It's been fun, hasn't it, Gobbles? So, my position still is innocent until proven guilty. However, Kohberger is looking guilty than the motherfucker right now. The buying and then the looking for a replacement for the knife. Oh, shit. For me, it hits home. For me, it makes me look at him and say, God damn, I think he might have done it. If it doesn't for you, I understand that. But for me, it changes my mind a little bit. And if it does for you, I understand. We're just, it does look bad. Yeah. And that's the point. It looks really fucking bad. And to the people that say, so what? He bought a knife. The grill's warming up for sure. Yeah. Yeah. I just think that you need to look at this from an objective spot. Don't be tied to your position because your tide could be wrong. Your position could be wrong, whether you're a guilter, whether you're a not guilter, whether you're pro, you know what I mean? Stomach drop, absolutely. That's the point. Don't be tied to one position because you might see some shit that changes your mind. This altered my mind a little bit. But I'm still with you. I still believe in innocent until proven guilty. That does not change. Why buy on Amazon when you go to buy weapons, show and cash, no ID? Yeah, I have no clue. It will go down as the dumbest move. If Kohberger did this, that buying the knife off Amazon and leaving the knife sheath will go down as the dumbest crime in criminal history. If that's what happened. If that's what looking for a replacement because it could have been stolen, it could have been stolen. Absolutely. He could have sold you 100%. Anything's possible. Anything is possible. But anyways, thank you guys. Thank you to everybody who hit the tip jar. Thank you to everybody that didn't. I love you guys. I got to get over to my politics live stream. I keep telling myself I'm only giving these motherfuckers an hour, but you guys pay. You guys keep it going. You guys keep the conversation going, and I appreciate you. I love y'all. Thank you. Appreciate everyone that didn't turn on me just because I'm looking at and reading. Because there was people that now all of a sudden hate me because I'm looking at the documents and I'm saying, well, maybe Kohberger did do it. There's people now that hate me. That's crazy. I love you guys. I'll see you next time. Peace out.